Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Call of Dragons, we're going to get our first impressions reactions to the 3 new heroes that were revealed today in a video showcasing the latest patch, which includes, by the way, the new season. So why don't we start with the new season, use the timestamps to jump to whichever part you'd like, and let's check out these new graphics. I've always been impressed by the points of interest in Call of Dragons, and on the new map, these points of interest, including the world tree over here, look freaking awesome. And in this new format, they mentioned there's going to be these shadow citadels. We see there's this currency over here, which I think we'll get a sense of what that does in just a minute. But if we go on to the next couple pictures they shared with us here, we get a few teasers of the sort of clockwork behemoth and also the shadow dragon, which look pretty cool. But then there's this whole system of kind of like remembering the skills of this hero and entering different phases. And you can see over here, you reawaken, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Sanyu? I think they mentioned it in the vid, but anyways. So there are a series of abilities here. Let's kind of read what they do. Rays of Remedy, cooldown 3 hours, energy cost 30, and the Fighting Phantasm, cooldown 3 hours, energy cost 30. She summons shades of past heroes to battle, summons a special legion near your city that lasts for 60 minutes. The legion is led by a random hero, equipped with a random artifact and a random warpath. I mean, I don't know exactly what these are going to do in terms of like, you know, like how they're used and what the cost is per se. I know it says energy, but like, how does that work? Is the energy what we see in the upper right, perhaps? But Dimensional Duel, 60-minute cooldown, energy cost 10, ventures into battle with the selected hero and grants them the special skill Dimensional Duel. After casting a skill, the Legion selects one enemy Legion and challenges them to a Dimensional Duel. Temporal Trap, ventures into battle with the selected hero, grants them the special Temporal Trap. After casting, up to 5 Legions within 10 meters of the Legion gain time freeze for 10 seconds, including this Legion. Or the Legion, it says. I don't know. In addition here, we've got this seasonal shift. 24-hour cooldown, 5 energy cost. This is an ability that says, accelerates the flow of time within your city. When cast, reserves in all resource buildings in your city are filled to maximum capacity. That's kind of neat. And there's different aptitude levels here that unlock in different phases. And if we zoom on in, I'm not entirely sure like what these do, but you can see the sort of, perhaps there are 3 phases. Maybe you pick one from each category or something like that. Maybe you unlock all 3, to be determined. And then over here, Timeless Treasury. Opens a secret store known as the Timeless Treasury. The Timeless Treasury opens for 4 hours at a time, allowing players to purchase items using merits. Huh. And, yeah, I don't know. We can zoom in and like see some of these 1,000 Thoughts, Mercantile Benevolence, Merchant's Boon. Those seem like maybe buffs to this ability, will be my guess. All right. And they mentioned the Draconian race. Doesn't mean we're getting a Draconian faction. Maybe we will, maybe we won't at some point. They showed, you know, this, by the way, was also in the cinematic that launched recently. I watched the cinematic. I thought it was cool. I debated reacting to it. I was like, I'm probably going to have another video about the patch, and then here we are, right? And then the map. Oh boy, this is a big map, all right? And one of my Alliance members sent me this message. In fact, it was Hellrider who sent me this. And he's like, okay, bro, here's what I think it's going to be. And they were right for the last season what the flow was going to be, and so here we are. And they're probably going to be right here too. So there are 6 starting zones. There's an adjacent fighting area, statue presumably. Then you've got a zone 2 and a zone 3 before ultimately you fight your way into the sort of dragon area. And there are 6 zone 3s. So reading into this map just a little bit, I think zone 2 is probably contested. Okay. Then you probably enter into zone 3 guaranteed. Then maybe the zone 3s are contested, maybe. And then zone 4 opens. The issue if zone 3s do open before zone 4 is that we've seen in too many situations, in my opinion, that you could have the season end before the dragon fight has even really begun, which I think is a huge miss. So my hope would be that, I don't know. I like more fighting, but I also like when everybody actually gets to the dragon zone, because that's the most exciting thing. We don't yet know if there will be the sort of matchmaking that we had in the prior season for Dragonfall. I thought that was a triumph. I feel like the COD community urgently needed that style of matchmaking. I still feel like that's the case. I do worry that if that style of matchmaking is not also here, that we'll see the sort of same juvenile ally selection, guaranteed win gameplay that we saw in the past. I feel like some of those communities that were doing that got shook up, but I don't think it's out of the system yet to sort of play in that very, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, but it's a very juvenile way to play the game. So we'll see. We'll see. So long story short, potentially this is the map flow. Cool to see where the passes are and which zones go where and how long you have them for really matters a lot. I would say if they are going to do these fights across the threes, like if you only have 2 days before the final zone opens, it's a big difference compared to, 2 weeks. And okay, 2 weeks is, I don't, and if there's ever a pass opening that long, but like we've seen like 10 plus days and it's like, okay, like you can end depending on how long they give, the goal is to end the season, right? Like if it's anything more than 2 days, then the intention for that zone opening is to create a world in which season ending movements can be made. All right. So the heroes. This is the first hero that advances from Epic to Legendary. I am hyped for that. We can get a look at her abilities here. By the way, she is overall PvP and support. And let's read these abilities. These are at the Epic rarity. We also have the Legendary rarity, okay? But for 1,000 rage cost, attack range very far, launches a Jade Demon pellet at the target, dealing damage factor 700. The Jade Demon pellet can also be transmitted to a random enemy legion, deals 40% less damage when transmitted. So it's like an area of effect ability, kind of. Hits one enemy, transmits to another. Then the next skill here, after casting a rage skill, heals her own legion every second for 3 seconds. So we're looking at a total of 450 healing factor. Next skill grants the legion 10% health and 20% more. Oh, wait, no. It's 10% more healing and 20% more defense. Okay, got it. Healing granted bonus, very small, but like immediately that gives me Garwood vibes. I don't know. No. Maybe Garwood, maybe not. Whenever the legion grants healing, it gains 1 stack of Physician's Mark. Each stack increases the Legion's attack by 6% for 5 seconds, max of 3 stacks. So, I mean, this is like representing 18% attack. It ain't much. It ain't much. The Awakening skill, launching a Jade Demon pellet at the target, dealing damage. Oh, let's see. Let's look at the after. Launches a Jade Demon, so it's modifying the active skill. Dealing damage factor now 800, up from 700. The Jade Demon pellet can also be transmitted to a random enemy legion. Deals 40% less damage when transmitted. So we're just gaining 100 damage factor? Is that it? Am I missing something? Let me know down below in the comments. What I'm really curious for is now we're up to the Legendary tier. What do we got at the Legendary tier? So we take the active skill, and we make it so it's now damage factor 1,300, reduces the target's healing received by 20% for 5 seconds, and the pellet can be transmitted 2 times, 40% less damage with each transmission. So, I mean, the third transmission is going to be pretty weak. So, I think this is a lot stronger. It qualifies as area of effect damage, and it sort of bounces and does less and less, but reducing the target's healing is pretty legit. And if the Jade Demon pellet debuffs every target's healing, that's kind of neat. I still feel like the healing reduction is not that big of a deal either way. When she casts a rage skill, she heals 3 surrounding friendly legions. Oh, healing factor 100. Okay, well, that ain't much. And she heals her own legion every second. So it's cool. It's not insane, but it's like cool. Nice little boost. What does this do? So grants a legion 10% more healing, 10% defense, and 20% attack. That's a pretty decent boost. Then Finally, we've got Field Surgery. Whenever the Legion grants healing, it gains 1 stack of healing mark. Each stack increases damage dealt. Oh, damage dealt. Wait, was the prior version attack or damage dealt? I might have misspoke. It stacks 3 times. This can trigger once per second. So we can get 18% more damage dealt, but what was it before? It was attack. I did not misspeak. But it switches to damage, which like is definitely just better than attack percent for sure. Okay, and the awakening here, we've already... Oh wait, have we already seen? Whenever the Legion launches a normal attack, it gains an additional 50 rage and gains Keen, 15% attack for 3 seconds. Can trigger once every 10 seconds. Huh, I mean, it's kind of got a rage engine. I'm not entirely sure who you pair with initially. I'm sure you'll have people talking about Indus because she heals, right? Garwood also heals, which is kind of cool. I think there's some thinking we could do into where this would go and where it would be best. Let me know your thoughts down below. I like generating rage. It's got some good buffs. And obviously there's like a lot of healing synergy going on here. All in all, I think this is a cool addition to the game, for sure. Like a hero that goes from epic to legendary is obviously very cool, but let's get a look at the new marksman, okay? So the first marksman up here, Falgrim, all right? Falgrim on his active skill fires a penetrating bolt that deals physical damage to the target, that's 1,300 factor, and to an enemy legion behind the target, that's damage factor 300, plus 50% of the damage dealt to the prior target. I mean, that's a lot of damage. If there are no enemy legions behind the target, deals additional physical damage to the target legion, 300 factor. I mean, this to me feels like some pretty good damage. I wanted marksman area of effect damage. We haven't had that. Here it is, right? Here it is. While on the field, the Legion gains 15% defense, 10% march speed, and when public punishment deals damage, which is the active skill, what happens? It also inflicts a slow march speed reduction. Okay, march speed reduction is nice, little debuff. Then we've got Professional Principles. It gains 25% physical attack, take 10% less normal damage. That's nice. Contract Killer. Each time the hero skill inflicts a debuff in battle, the Legion deals 6% more damage via normal attacks or public punishment for 10 seconds, up to a maximum of 20%. So obviously you want to be inflicting a bunch of debuffs here. We do have one on him, which is the slow effect, right? The public punishment. And then the Awakening skill, when Falgrim launches a normal attack, deals 20% more hero skill damage until the next time Falgrim casts a rage skill. So that's kind of interesting. Can trigger once every 8 seconds. Huh. So he boosts an instance of skill damage and it triggers from normal attacks. Interesting. Not insane. Do I feel like I'm missing something? Like doesn't feel overpowered to me. But okay, he's a former dwarven mobster. That's hilarious. Marksman, PvP, and skill tree. I mean, my initial reaction here is I don't know what pet to give him. I was talking about this with some of my alliance members, but like, obviously it's not a Snow Peak rock. He has absolutely no synergy here with that, I feel. He doesn't have any synergy with a Night Rock, right? Like, I don't know, I got to put some thought into it, but one thing that we were sort of talking about is like, maybe you just put a Sand Lizard on it, but he has no healing synergy either. So like, what pet is designed for this? And the one thing that really kind of drives me pretty nuts is if a pet releases for these heroes after the heroes arrive. Because like, obviously when the heroes arrive, I need to put a pet on them. So I'm going to invest in something. But then if I have to replace that with a better thing later, it's like, I don't know, daggers, man. We'll see. We'll see how it ultimately goes. Here we've got Sibyl, the final hero. With every 3 normal attacks the Legion launches. So this is weird because it says rage cost 1,000, range medium, but then it says with every 3 normal attacks the Legion launches, it deals additional physical damage, 550, and reduces the target Legion's attack by 5% for 2 seconds, max of 3 stacks. So maybe what this means is when you use this skill, it says with every 3 normal attacks. I mean, is this a buff to your army? This to me feels too slow. If this had no rage cost and just happened on its own, like every 3 normal attacks, kind of like Zeta, it would be or like Magrat, it would be insane. But I'm a little lost on this one personally. I am personally a little lost. And then when the Legion launches a rally, ignore 10% of enemy hit points, has a 50% chance to increase defense by 20% for 3 seconds whenever it takes skill damage. Triggers once every 5. I think that seems pretty good. I like that skill. But it's the second skill, and it's for rallying. So if you're trying to field with this hero, you're going to have to put a lot of skills onto them and hope it doesn't land on the second skill. Marksman Legion deals 15% more normal damage and gains 20% hit points and 10% march speed. On reaching 500 rage, inflicts defense break. Oh, there is a defense break here on the target for 15 seconds and gains physical keen for 15 seconds. But like a defense break once per skill cycle doesn't feel like that's it, in my opinion. Like if we were getting a defense break every 2 or 3 seconds, then Snow Peak Rock could like be a thing, I think. Anyways, the Awakening. With every 3 normal attacks, it enhances the active skill. It deals additional damage, 650 factor, and reduces the target Legion's attack by 5% still. Okay, so it's just a little bit more damage factor, which, you know, you always love to see it. These are just my initial reactions. I got to go do deep dives on each of these heroes and really get in the tank and figure out, like, okay, what's the best combos, etc. I'm always inclined to just, like, pair the new stuff together, but that might not be the case. Like, I don't know, is there a Syndrian combo here that could be really cool, like 2 rally heroes together? Yeah, the more I think about Syndrian launching more normal attacks, like with every 3 normal attacks the Legion launches, I feel like there's a Syndrian play here. I feel like there's a Syndrian Sibyl rally play. Now, against what garrison, though, is kind of a weird question. There's no mage garrison that anybody's using, right? So what is this rally an answer to? I'm not sure yet. Anyways, onward we go. The artifact fires a hail of bolts in a forward cone, dealing diffused physical damage every second for up to 5 enemy legions within the cone. Oh my god. Damage factor 800 per second. Wow. Okay. That's a lot to take in. So 5 enemies, 800 factor per second for 3 seconds. So you're looking at what? 2,400 factor times the 5 enemies. I mean, this is a huge amount of damage if you can actually land all the AoE. I get that it's diffused damage, so the more targets you hit, the less damage you deal, but it still feels pretty strong. And it says when a penetrating bolt deals damage. Okay, so pair with the, you know, new marksman. The wielder deals 10% more hero skill damage for 10 seconds. Wow. I mean, that feels really strong, and it feels like it has rally and garrison relevance. Mostly just probably rally relevance, but that seems pretty good, actually. And that covers the heroes, by the way. There are some new events on the way, including Cosmic Interchange, which I'm very excited about. Changing out your building speeds for your training speeds. Kind of a bummer you can only do 100 of these per KVK, I assume, or per instance of this event. I would like to do a lot of these. Like, I must have, as you see in the picture, like thousands and thousands of speed ups that are building speeds that I'd love for them to not be building speeds, right? But in general, I would say Call of Dragons does an above average job of giving you universals instead of building and research speeds. Not that you don't get building and research speeds, but you know, the wheel and other places gives you more universals and trainings than I think we see in other games. All right. Then we've got a quiz event, and they showed us some changes on some new alliance skills, as I recall. Banishment and exile, pretty legit. And I think that covers, all the big stuff in the update. So I'm kind of hyped for the new heroes, eager to see how the meta changes. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are they hype? Are they not hype? I'll tell you, I was not hyped for Mag's A, and boy, could I not possibly have been more wrong. They were absolutely devastating. They still are, in my opinion, the best heroes in the game. They're God tier. So will the new marksmen also be God tier? I feel like this season they'll probably not be tuned to be so powerful, given how powerful they were the last time around, but we'll see. Subscribe if you want to see it, And if you're looking for my prior Call of Dragons videos, check the cards in the end screen. They'll be over here. You can go watch them. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.